and welcome to the Raw Review. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review Raw and all the fallout from Money in the Bank.
Been some big ones of them lately, haven't there?
Yeah.
This was good.
I'm just going to say right now, I thought this was the best Raw of the year.
I know, I've just seen...
I loved it.
I've just seen your all caps message.
Yeah.
I didn't see that before we came in. Like...
What was the all caps message?
You sent me an all caps message that I'd only just read. Hang on.
I forget, you little losers get away from our group chat to talk about your
giddy.
fed.
I was just very giddy.
Did you know your audience?
He wants shared enthusiasm. I've only just seen it. All caps. Jesus Christ, Raw was awesome. Right, which I would also... This is it. I would also send if I felt that way as well. Again, to somebody that would actually appreciate it. I want to engage in something. I would not darken your door.
I don't care.
Such nonsense.
About nothing.
But yeah, this was a lot of the stuff I like, but we'll go through it, I think. Like I liked loads on this show, but we previewed yesterday, I was expecting to love loads of it, and I didn't really get that. I tweeted, like, I'm really excited, and this could be electric or it could be from an ace. And it was electric. That was what it was. I don't think there was any point where I got that highest high. I don't think Raw is reflecting the lows of 2025 WWE. Like, I really don't. I think there are lots of ways in which that is reflected. I think we're seeing it in, like, the main event of Money in the Bank, for example, or last week's NXT, or most SmackDowns. Raw is this outlier for me. But maybe it's 2025 WWE distilled, and it's a lot of, like, potential of things that could still be great, that could still be that 2023, 2024 quality, but just not quite hitting.
One of the better Raws of the year for me. And here's where our respective positions might be explained. It was kind of a checks and championships Raw, this, where in-ring action focused, stakes being getting to win a wrestling prize and not lose a friend, or gaining a friend, or taking over. Checks and championships. You had wrestlers gunning for a title shot in the four-ways. You had a title match, a checks and championship Raw that I thought Jey Uso's best individual performance potentially ever. Certainly, absolutely smashed his previous encounters with Gunther, which I thought were pretty poor, considering it's a world championship match. They should be good. And a relative absence of Seth Rollins all over the show.
That's always going to help, isn't it?
I mean, it helps the show as well, not just me, pal.
We could be pals, but not friends.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Minimal Seth. Like a pretty dramatic match in the main event that I thought was really well done, actually. And the mid-card fair had purpose.
I thought it was some really good booking.
And a lack of predictability as well.
Good booking.
The trifedka.
No.
That's what I had for me.
I mean, there wasn't an amazing angle or promo on here.
There was. But we'll get to that. And
there's that. There's that Sidge.
Let's dive into it, because I saw a lot of people, or a few people, I should say, comparing this, not comparing it, although it's, on a par for me as the Raw after WrestleMania in terms of just a very eventful show with lots of stuff happening and, exciting directions going forward. So we do the usual intro. I only mention this here because they do the typical thing of like, oh, look, everyone's arriving to Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch was in a Miss Rachel shirt. I'll pop for that. That was a very topical thing for me.
This is either where
I missed this.
Was Miss Rachel a thing when?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Not for me.
It's like a YouTube channel for babies, basically. Toddlers.
So we're at the point now where, like, there was only one Blippy when my kids were little.
Oh, boy.
And now the Blippy cinematic universe, I understand, is extended to about 50 Blippies. Just know how many different Blippies out there, as long as you don't Google the first one, the OG.
Oh,
Google
okay.
what he did. It's not that bad, but it's pretty gross. That's probably the Blippy and the Wiggles.
Bluey a thing?
Bluey is sort of... Bluey was a thing, and then the kids will still like, I can see that it's still comfort food they don't want to admit they still like.
Right.
And they'll stick on, and then I'll be like, yeah, it's not bad, this. But there was like there's a wider extended Wiggles verse as to there was 4. Back in my day, there was 4, and now there's like 50 from Wiggles because it's just a money-making machine.
Okay.
Is his microphone still working?
I think so.
Sadly.
So having technical issues before.
No, I'm away from all that. James just watches football, FC25 streamers and stuff like that. And
Slop.
The stuff that Charlotte watches. I'm like,
Kids are in the slop era. It's gross.
Yeah, brain rot.
It's
Either way, I mean, you still watch it. So, but this was better brain rot than most episodes this year. I thought.
I hate all elite wrestling.
I know you do.
I just hate it.
Irrationally.
I know. Yeah, it's
very irrational.
It's
so irrational.
It's
bro.
such a grey turd.
It's not. It's really good. It's really good at the moment.
It's got 6 good characters, and they're all in the biggest matches at All In. And I'm like, oh God, they've got it right. God, they've got it right.
You're just defensive because your little fed's on the way out. I know that's what it is,
That's
but it's fine. But no, this might be back.
I want to get
so
out. I really.
There's a good wrestler who's the world champ now, so that's good.
What, in AEW?
No, obviously not.
I was going to say, I was like, what the are you talking about?
In WWE.
Like oh yeah.
Yeah.
There already was.
Nah.
Wrestling's about
Anyway, let's get on.
Let's
get on. We've got the entrances to Raw so far.
Is it sport or is it entertainment, or should it be a combination of the two?
Why is it neither in the Fed right now?
Pretty good world champion. John Moxley entertains nobody.
Why is it neither?
I don't really care. I'm just trying to. I don't really care about this Raw. I'm trying to find a bit.
It's weird.
You too, pal.
I know.
I don't know. Like I am trying to feel a little bit of fire for this one because I don't think I have you. I'd rather have your all caps and these.
This fire burns. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. But yeah, don't know.
We get a recap of Worlds Colliding, Money in the Bank, and then John.
There it is. There's where the lack of fire is. There's too much. Everybody off. Small cast, please. Small cast. Focus booking like we got on this Raw, but now for the next 6 months across all the shows. That's what I want. It's not that much to ask.
So what, like 6 characters then who are in a good
6.
position?
AEW are nailing it.
Yeah.
Those 3 big matches are all in. Keep it there. I'll take that. Just 6 big names.
Just 3 matches at All In. Thanks for coming.
I only want 5 on the PLEs, and he's nailed that for the most part. So if you only had 2 more All In, you've nailed it. Like,
Maybe 12.
No.
Nah, they won't. Anyway, let's go.
There'll be 8.
There'll be 8.
John Cena comes out, says the fans teach him something every time they open their mouths. At Money in the Bank, Cena learned that the truth is a lie. The fans want a sideshow comedian whose greatest achievement is pretending to be him. They're all spineless keyboard warriors and armchair activists with no real power to change anything.
Off, John. It is 2025.
He is performing this as if it was Vince penning it in 2015.
I hate it. And his performance of it is abysmal.
Oh, yeah.
Excruciatingly bad.
R-Truth is a gimmick that the fans will spit out in a year and not care about at all.
True.
He says this is his farewell tour. And he has limited time left. I do like the gimmick of one of the few things I do, of the countdown. He flashes up. So he started on, 36
Really
or
good.
It's becoming a relief.
Really good.
I think we're down to 19 now.
I'd still love
So that's 16?
19, I think.
All right.
He was 19.
I think this might have been 19, so maybe you're 18. I'm not sure.
The individual localized gear is still quality as well. John Cena racing through a bunch of different colours.
Everything's great except the person.
Yeah. There was so much of this that was like destined to work. And it's broken.
Send him competition if you want to accomplish something rather than the class clown. Everyone they've cheered from R-Truth to Cody to Randy. He's beaten their best. Not quite yet, because here comes CM Punk. Nice opening line here from Punk. Are you comfortable, John? I want you to be comfortable because I have got a lot of things I want to get off my chest. What was that from?
Oh, God, it was a pipe bomb. Yeah.
It says it's ironic that the cowboy, the Boy Scout, you're going to ruin wrestling, ruining the establishment that made you who you are. And CM Punk, the iconoclast, the outcast, the red-headed stepchild, nothing wrong with that. The punk rock kid from Chicago, defending the establishment. The more things change, the more things stay the same. I'm not defending the establishment. Let's make it real clear. John Boy, I'm not standing for TKO. I'm not here to defend the billionaires. I'm here to defend the people. What you
Come on. How I feel. Come on.
You're mad because the establishment picked you, but the people never did. They picked me in 2011 to be the voice of the voiceless. You said you haven't faced you haven't had the best, you haven't faced the best competition. You have. Cody's the best we've got, and you beat him because you take cheap shots and you take shortcuts. I'm not here to kiss my final boss's ass like you. I'm here to let you know that these people are my boss. It's my job to give them what they want. If they want the truth, they're going to get Ron Killings. He talks about the spokes on a wheel, quote of his, of course. It's time CM Punk taught John Cena he's just a spoke on a wheel too by taking that title off your shoulders. Remember when me and you locked up at Elimination Chamber, first time in over 10 years? I felt something a little bit different. And then you watched as Seth Rollins stomped me and you didn't hesitate. Put me in the STF. You pulled me back into the ring, put me in the STF. And the last thing I heard before I lost consciousness was you saying anguishedly, I'm sorry. You screamed, I'm sorry, because you knew then, and you know now what you're doing is not right. Look around you. You know what you're doing is wrong. When I take that title off you, you're going to spend the rest of your dates crisscrossing the country, apologizing to these people, to the man you've become. That title has corrupted you. I know it. That same belt turned me into a monster in 2012. When I came back here to WWE, I had a list of goals, and holding that belt wasn't one of them, but because I'm afraid of the man I become when I have it. But he said everybody in the back should want to be the world heavyweight champion. Few can accomplish it, but I now see that I have to become a monster to stop the monster. To you, guys like you, to Seth Rollins, that is a chip, that is power, it means control, and to me that is something that belongs to the people. By my count, after tonight, you've got 18 dates left of what little respect I had for you. I'll leave it up to you as to which of those dates I take it off your shoulder. If you're not a coward, if you're any kind of man, if you're more Boston Red Sox than you are New York Yankee, you'll say that date tonight, right here, right now in Phoenix. John Cena fires back. John Cena, CM Punk, one final match, the best in the world against the greatest of all time, the undisputed WWE Championship. Let's do it. Not tonight, though. No, a match like this, you're going to follow me to Saudi Arabia. We're going to do it at Night of Champions. The ball is in your court, hero. You want a title match? It's going to be at Night of Champions. What do you say? Punk says you're on, off mic. And Seth Rollins comes out with his Money in the Bank briefcase as this segment closes.
Big swing, big miss from CM Punk, this one. One of the things I love about Punk, and this goes back to his original run, more than this one, quite honestly, is that lots of wrestlers have to go out there sometimes and do 10% content, 90% delivery, because a lot of the time it's a carny game and what you've got to sell isn't really something people want to buy. And Punk was one of the best at that, particularly in a time when almost nobody was any good at it, you know? And I've said it a million times, and there's always examples, I think, that are there of why the best CM Punk is WWE Superstar CM Punk, because it's not just about polishing a turd. Plenty of people are good at that.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's not just about that, because that happens more than you think in wrestling, like a lot of the time as well. It's about fooling people that it was never a turd at all, and Punk was amazing at that at his peak. And he hasn't had to do that as much in this return, because there's less of it's been turd. So, like, a lot of the material's been very strong. He's clearly had stuff that he can sink his teeth into, and then even when it's not necessarily stuff he wants to sink his teeth into, you can tell there's a belief in the process enough that there's something down the line he can work on. And I would say the example of John Cena apologising as his last act as a babyface before turning heel was something they left for a rainy day, and that day is today, and that's the process being trusted right there. That little moment between those two was foreshadowing that John Cena was going to turn heel, and it was him almost like sort of bidding farewell to the babyface in this last moment of magic between the two old rivals. And you knew Punk was one day going to reference that. And he has. And here we are. So there's an example of like the process being trusted. That's polishing a turd. That's the 10 versus the 90%. You can't... CM Punk was, I don't want to say arrogant, but confident enough to believe that he could talk his way around a promo that was going to end in the confirmation that he was going to work Saudi Arabia. And he couldn't. He couldn't double talk around it.
There was no way even he could do it.
That's it. Those exact point. Even he cannot do that. The day he signed for WWE was the day he was signed up to work Saudi Arabia. We talked about this at the time, right? It's not some gotcha, really. It can be for people if they want it. It's not some elephant in the room at this point. The day he re-signed with WWE, excuse me, where am I?
Sorry, thanks, Nelly.
Thanks, Nelly. I guess she's there sometimes. Yeah. She's always a part of this podcast. Her and Judgment Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do bit. Yeah, the day he re-signed for WWE was the day that this match was always going to happen. We joked that it might be the Royal Rumble because it's like, well, how'd you keep yourself out of that one, Phil? Like,
Yeah.
But here it is now. And the rest of the promo was the sort of stuff that, like, I'm one for a callback. I'm one for lore, especially between these two. But I don't think this version, this heel babyface dynamic needed the callbacks. I think if anything, it muddied the waters between the two. I think if anything, CM Punk, the character, owning that over time, he started to understand what it was to be the millionaire, to be the New York Yankees, and then trying to bounce something off of that would have been far more compelling. Like, you know what, John, back in 2011, like I felt like I had to drop a pipe bomb because it was the only thing left I could do, and I had to drop a pipe bomb on someone like you. And then over time, I've sort of become you myself. And what does that mean? Like, explore those character traits and explore those personality and the way that we change and evolve as adults. CM Punk's got grey in his beard. John Cena's got the egg in a nest, and time is coming to an end for both guys. But, like, explore that, you know? Like, really explore that. And instead, it was this quest for oohs and ahs off callbacks and memories, and all in pursuit of obscuring the natural end to all of this, which is that CM Punk works Saudi Arabia, a bigger headline than CM Punk versus John Cena, right down to the, all right, fight you, right as Seth Rollins' music is playing, and right down to, for the first time that I can remember anyway, WWE itself healing Saudi Arabia by John Cena saying, you will follow me to Saudi Arabia, with a bit of a smirk, a knowing smirk. And it's like, well, hang on. Like, you as a company are speaking out with both sides of your mouth here, because, like, so you'll call WWE the evil empire, right? Well, I'll tell you the other evil empire, Saudi Arabian Sports Authority, right? So which is it? Because in 2018, you signed a 10-year deal with Vision 2030. You got into bed with Saudi Arabia, the baddies with the baddies. That's it. That's done. That's a 10-year deal, right? And then once the Jamal Khashoggi heat died down, you went back to advertising Riyadh season. You went back to putting these adverts on your PLEs where it's like, come over to Saudi Arabia, it's nicer than ever. You dropped that for a bit when the heat was on, and now you brought it all the way back because everything's fine again, and we're not worried about that sort of stuff anymore. So is it come to Riyadh season's the best, or is it follow me to Saudi Arabia, embrace your villainous self? It can't be both. And they tried to make it that. They tried so many ways to talk around a few bits of internalized ugliness that probably neither of them like, and it failed. And what it's done is kind of fail the excitement that would have built around a John Cena versus CM Punk match. It has. Like, this was huge, and the match might still feel big on the night, and I might in 3 weeks when we're previewing this or whatever be like, God, that go-home promo between those two, the fire will never go out between these two, the magic on the night, like all of these things, I'm able to sell myself out and watch this match and get engaged in this match just as I am watch any of these Saudi Arabia shows. But they were out there pretending, and then the more you realise what the timeline was, that it was heading to this match on this PLE, the more you realise why they were pretending and why they were faking it. There was such a more exciting and interesting, realer version of this that we'll probably not see because it's happening here rather than at, say, SummerSlam or the Survivor Series. So, yeah, bit of an air out the balloon for me on this one.
I'll talk about the specific content of the verbal exchange before talking about Punk brackets general. Two issues I had with it. And I loved this program back in the day. Truly, I did. I felt like I needed it. I felt like a lot of fans needed it. Probably went on too long.
I loved the second version of it, by the way. You know, Punk as the heel when Brett was in the ring, and like he was like the belt had made him a monster, and they're going again, and he's like, I've had about 400 days, and people still don't respect me like they respect you. I'm angry at you for a slate of different reasons, you bastard. And it was just as captivating. You know, the last match was the best, and whatever. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. So the 2 points I wanted to make about the actual promo before we go into the implications of the promo and CM Punk and all the rest of it is, thing number one is that I understand that there's a lot of lore and continuity, so you can't not address that because it is the story. They laid it on a bit thick to the point where it felt way more like a nostalgic revisit than the next iteration of the story. It just felt like, we probably should do this. Not that both characters really are desperate to prove themselves to one another. They're wrestling soulmates, as Hamflett believes, all over again. It just felt like, we're doing the thing. Do some callbacks, It just felt very superficial for me. I also questioned big time CM Punk's line And it's easier than ever to do, to like really pull his material apart. And that's a mess of his own making. It truly is, right? He said that on the list of things I wanted to achieve when I came back to the company, winning that title wasn't on it. What? You've entered the Royal Rumble twice. You have entered Elimination Chamber to do what?
Yeah.
What? To guarantee the chance that you can vie for that title after, and this is a trick that all wrestlers should continue to do to make it so the core purpose is never lost. I'm fairly certain, on at least one occasion I can recall, that being after the strap match with Drew, Punk did his thing that all wrestlers should do. My personal grudge is over. These personal grudges should be the byproduct of whatever, like that sidetrack you from the main goal that should always be the main goal of winning the goddamn title. I'm fairly certain he mentioned GUNTHER CM Punk by name, right? Oh no, Drew's back because this beef that I thought was settled isn't.
Him and Cody, like we want the same thing.
We want the same
you and
thing.
I. That was like, and it wasn't the WrestleMania main event. It was the belt at the end of the WrestleMania main event. Yeah.
But no, he apparently doesn't want it. Like, I mean,
he's talking his way to doing this job.
Yeah, I know.
Which probably
it's either very, very cynical or a rare lapse in judgment. Either way, not good. Not good. And just I was baffled. I was expecting, like when he came out, I was like, oh, there's going to be some business here. It was very poor, I thought. Not poor, it was well delivered, of course it is, at least on Punk's side. But just not good as a segment of television, I thought. The second thing is all things Punk, and I'll get on to it, right? I cannot sit here in front of this microphone, and this I know is a failing of mine as a human being. I cannot sit here and earnestly express outrage that CM Punk is working the Saudi Arabia show or that WWE continues to do it. I can't. I feel nothing at this point. The sports washing project has worked. This very insidious. I was outraged at the time.
It's how it works.
It's how it works.
Yeah, there's a method to it.
There's a method to it. There are only, I'm sorry, a finite amount of things I can truly earnestly care about before I can continue to care about everything else. One thing after another, look out the window, it's pretty horrible. So I don't want to sit here and moralize and be sanctimonious about CM Punk's decision, because at this point, and I know I'm a bad person for it, I can't. I legitimately don't feel like, CM Punk going to Saudi Arabia. It would be very easy for me to say it. I can't. However, there's such a difference between, like, who else is going to work Saudi Arabia this year? I don't know. Anyone who's going to be in the King of the Ring final. Like Sami Zayn or
Jey Uso. Let's say he's the mystery man next week or something.
Jey Uso's the mystery man.
Yeah.
It could be Mr. Iguana, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. Say Mr. Iguana goes to Saudi Arabia, right?
It's like a children's
I was going to say that's a kids' film franchise.
It's not a very good one. At this point in 2025, I would be a liar if I was to say, God, Mr. Iguana, taking the Saudi money, I disapprove and feel really bad. I can't. It's not that I don't want to. I can't, and that is the truth. There's an obvious difference with CM Punk, like an obvious one, and that is the Miz tweet, the general sanctimonious act.
Yeah.
And I know this is a word coined and used by, quite frankly, a side of the political spectrum I don't align with. CM Punk's a virtue signaler. He is, right? And that's come to bite him on the arse, and he probably deserves the kicking he's got online this morning. It goes deeper in terms of the professional wrestling character CM Punk, because he's completely at this point lost sight of himself. When he said that, I'm not defending billionaires. It's like, why are you still trying to do this bit on this segment? Like, I cannot take you seriously at all. I don't know what you do at this point. Maybe it's too hard for you to be anybody else other than CM Punk. Like, is the way forward. None of this matters, by the way. He's still got the massive pop. He'll be embarrassed today if he still has any feelings or whatever.
He'll want that match to be so good. In A, be the one guy in the Cena run that got it right, and B, wrestle to make people forget.
Yeah.
And to Sidgwick's point, by the way, I share this. I've watched every single one of those Saudi shows, and we'll sit here and we'll preview and we'll review them.
I support Newcastle United Football Club. Do you know what I mean?
The wrestling is the wrestling, the sport is the sport, whatever. Like, CM Punk will carry that spite and all the various other motivators he has to be like, we're going to get out there and ring the bell, and then see what the conversation is Monday morning versus what it is today on Tuesday. That's his modus operandi in a lot of ways in which he signaled virtues in the past and like lied or felt a thing at the time and then abandoned that thought and moved on to the next thing and all of that. That's a consistent, I would say, in his character.
Indeed. So I do suffer from PDS. I do. I cannot watch the bloke in this specific iteration of his character and take him remotely seriously. None of this matters. He got a massive pop last night. He'll get a massive pop when he promotes this match in the next town. You know, that's just how it's going to go with CM Punk. He's one of the most over wrestlers, well, in history, but for this version of WWE, which is still hot. Okay. So when I say the following, it's kind of meaningless. For me, like, does he experiment with something adjacent to the straight edge society? Does he lean on that? Does he for me and for a lot of other people, and maybe this will change in 3 years if he goes to AEW and is like really good again in the promotion that I lean towards, and I'll expose myself as a hypocrite just like him. But I just cannot take a word this guy says seriously, and that for him is pretty, for a lot of fans anyway. And again, it doesn't matter, all the Fed fans love him. But for a lot of fans, it's kind of toxic to his particular brand of he's still talking about billionaires in this promo when he knows what he's done. You know what you've done here. It's like whenever he says something now, it's like, I just can't take you seriously. And the resentment just fosters. And I just think you're meant to be the baby face. I mean, basically, the promo last night just confirmed everything that I feel about him, which is less than nothing because I can't take him seriously. At this point, and I'm not exaggerating here, it might sound like it, I'm not. At this point, guy who willingly re-signed with WWE, guy who is going to Saudi Arabia, and I've got one more point to make after this, please refresh my memory. Guy who re-signed with WWE, guy who is going to do the Saudi Arabia shows, playing a punk rocker who has a value system better than everybody else's, and it's sanctimonious. The guy might as well be Malachi Black, the amount of bollocks he's talking. And this is there's such a dissonance between the act and the gimmick and the man saying these words. It's as hard for me personally to take seriously as like a 90s occupational gimmick. He's a fake dentist. He is TL Hopper. He is the Gooner. I mean, the Goon. He is playing someone. He is playing the role of someone who isn't him. And the dissonance is absolutely, it's been untenable for me for a long time. This just underlined it. I'm going to say one more thing here. One more thing. And that is, like, as I said, if Jey Uso goes to Saudi at this point, it's 2025. Of course he is. CM Punk, it's a mess of his own making, right? On CM Punk, I find it wild that, yes, there were people who had the memes in the chamber, who had the specific memes in the chamber, probably made them weeks ago, knowing that months ago, knowing this day would come, knowing this day would come, knowing this day would come, right? There is, however, so people are doing this post. They are, right? There are people who are seeming to express disappointment or gotcha with CM Punk. Maybe there is some earnest sentiment, I don't believe it, amongst all of this. I'm very cynical, too cynical, personal flaw, etc., right? If there are people who are kind of waiting for this to happen, if it was some revelation, as if there was like doubt over this happening, right? And they're happy that he sold himself out because they don't like him, or they're earnestly disappointed, or it is a gotcha, but they were just waiting for final confirmation that they can, oh, yes, I was happy with this meme, now I can do it. I was happy with this MP4 with like a different theme song played over his Tron. Oh, I can finally do it. Like, the mere fact that people have been waiting to do it as if this wasn't a certainty tells you one thing. CM Punk, one of the greatest workers in the history of this industry. the fact that people still take seriously enough to be shocked or even like giddy that he's actually finally sold his soul. Like, he's been playing a character for a long time, and his guise as, quite frankly, I know this is reductive, but it's no less true, a professional liar.
Yeah.
If you just shut up and tried something else, and again, this is for me, this is not for WWE fans, because they love him regardless. And AEW fans, if he goes back in 2 years, will start to, I think I like CM Punk again. That's just how these things work and always will. And that's probably why I'm so cynical. But the fact that there were people who were waiting for this to happen, as if it wasn't etched in stone in November 2023, just tells you people have taken this guy's television persona so seriously for so many years. You can't not put him literally in best in the world conversations for this exact reason.
It was one of the points I wanted to make on this promo and some of the content of it, but Sidge has made me realise something there as well. The dissonance that Sidge often speaks about with CM Punk as a babyface, I have felt 0 times until this promo, which was the first time I ever agreed. And one of the reasons I'd never feel it is because, as you pointed out there, it's never reflected. I like CM Punk, and buildings full of people love him too. And I don't think you've ever shied away from saying, like, it's not working for me as a heel. Yeah, for me as a heel, like as a babyface, clearly like everybody else. The best CM Punk promo, I would say there's like, in terms of the content of promos, and CM Punk is a master of these, like there's zones. So like you've got just absolute slop, like a Vince McMahon directed Subway commercial of a promo, for example, right? Then you've got like Common or Garden wrestling promo, I want to fight you, well, I want to fight you, and then there might be an issue between them, whatever. Then you've got realism, which is ideally in 2025 where you want most things to live. It can be about a very unreal subject, but there can be a real feeling hostility between the two. And there can be references to things that you or I experience every day. Getting on the metro and being angry because you're harnessing an anger, right? So if you can find something that somebody in like Rose Ed feels and bring it right into the middle of the ring, and I think this is what Jey Uso does as a babyface, by the way, from Rose Ed to the ring, then you've got something. Then there's hyper-realism, which fails more than it succeeds. And that's something I don't think a lot of wrestlers realize or can manage. CM Punk, on occasion, can manage hyper-realism to like just transcendent ends. First Dance, right? That is hyper-realism. There is a man talking about how this thing took away his mental health ultimately, and we know enough about his real life to do it. You can hate the promo and the point of it and all the other things that spun off it, but like only genuine article in a business full of counterfeit books. Like that's like a gazillion dollar line.
Yeah, there's nothing realistic about it though.
But it taps into the hyper realism of the situation. That that relationship was untenable, and there was him just like, let me show you how untenable it is with this. You know, this hyper realism is like too far. It's too much for him to. He can't manage. He can manage almost everything, and he can't manage this. This stuff about like billionaires and like it's hyper real. You are in a billionaires playground, and you are part of that, and you're in the evil billionaires. You're about to be in the evilest billionaires playground, and you're part of that. You can't talk about that. You cannot talk around it. You simply cannot. And I don't know if again hubris, arrogance, ignorance, all of the above. An attempt.
It all adds to his legend at the end of the day, and he's clever enough to know this.
But he's got, if you like him, I think one of the things he's really skilled at is, and this was something he mastered when he came back to WWE, he was able to go like tunnel visioned and talk about these WWE programs like they were the most important thing in the world to him. His rivalry with Drew McIntyre was way more important than his supposed hatred of WWE. And I think that got to CM Punk's haters with Z more, because it was like, how are you able to fake caring so much about a bracelet and sports entertainment? Because you do, and you've made people buy pay-per-views and t-shirts, and like, how have you done that, you prick? Like, that's his skill, not this.
No.
And I think, I don't know if that's him thinking it's his skill, or is just his desperation to make this feel like something as heated as a bracelet, and it's not. You cannot talk around these things.
No.
And not like you, not even CM Punk, a guy that I love watching you talk around things to a positive end, cannot talk around this.
I once said of CM Punk, and I've repeated it several times, that he is so compelling, and his ability to summon conviction in what I honestly think half the time is total pure lies is so astonishing that he could sit me down for 5 minutes, start talking about the world being flat, and through sheer delivery, conviction, Yeah, it is, mate. I'm fairly certain it is. He can't do this. No one can do this. To his credit, no one can do this.
No.
He's a total and utter hypocrite, which would be fine if his gimmick wasn't the one genuine article. Are you me? Those are hopefully the last two swears, Wilbourn.
Well, we've gone long there. What was your take on this? Guilt-free, judgment-free, all that. Like
buzzing to see Cena and CM Punk. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Like the only person who's had a good match with 2025 John Cena, in my opinion.
That match within a match at Chamber was almost astonishing in terms of Cena's like actually applying principles of wrestling craft to what he's doing.
He was always a John Whisperer with Punk, wasn't he? Like, can you get it for 5 minutes? Can you try and get it?
I still remember, this is years ago, and other people have done this as well, but I think it was just maybe my love for Punk at the time. You know, just the like, shoulder tackle. He went, you can't see me. Punk was just like, I'm going to kick you in the head. You put your head there, dickhead. You've knocked me down 2 shoulder tackles. I'm not unconscious. And I was just like, oh yeah, you could just do that, couldn't you? I was just like... You would break through things.
Like speaking of breakthroughs, when we talk about Cena and me and Sidge, increasingly less divided than ever on John Boy, but like you just made me think of something there. It's like, do I like John Cena in the same way that I like Kevin Nash? Like underrated as being carryable by proper wrestlers, never fighting for him as like one of the all-time workers, but in there with somebody that gets his strengths and helps him. Magic, like absolute bona fide magic that I adore. A comparison has just formed in my head that I never realised. Like, you put Nash in there with Brett or with Sean, and he's one of the best listeners ever. Proper, that's my favourite kind of wrestling. Is that what I love about John Cena and CM Punk? Because all along he's just a 7-footer. Like,
so we should have got Punk versus
6 foot body.
We should have got Punk versus Nash.
I thought it would be good at the time. I don't mind admitting that. Like, funnily enough, Triple H in the Sledgehammer ladder match couldn't get where Punk might have got with Kevin Nash. Who would have thought that?
Right, let's talk about the rest of this Raw because we go to commentary.
It's long.
Wade Barrett's on it though, rather than.
That's another thing.
That's
McAfee gone. Rollins not on it very long.
Two of your least favourite Raw guys.
Yeah.
And we get the graphics for the King and Queen of the
World was a
Ring.
little bit brighter.
King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Cody's in there. Asuka's there. Great to see her back. There's also a mystery person in the men's side that we'll no doubt speculate on.
Probably next week because this is going to go along. I hope it's Mr. Iguana.
Could be. Got his video, didn't he? Cool brackets. Good brackets.
Which is it, Raw or is it SmackDown? I've already forgotten. Actually,
Raw.
It's on Raw.
Raw. Yeah.
Someone who featured in this show. A little bit of an ad break that would be my pick.
Because Mr.
Bit of a fan favourite.
Because you don't want to put a returning or debuting full timer in that slot. Like I saw a name mooted, and I'm thinking that person would have to win. Like Mr.
Dragunov was one of them.
Yeah, like you can't like Dragunov. That'd be bad if he's not going to win it. You know.
Having said that, they've got Asuka and Stephanie
Vake.
They're both in it.
All right,
but then 4-ways. This is why they might be all right.
And I was told multi-man matches were bad, and yet again,
I think. We had this debate last week, and this has already gone on. I think these multi-man tournaments work. I'm a multi-man tournament guy. I think they're good booking devices.
Great multi-man matches. We've always said this.
They're simple but good booking devices.
I don't hate this. The 4-way versus the triple threat. I know it's the most cosmetic, superficial, almost gotten to. Yeah, we should probably not do the triple threats, but I kind of like 4-ways. Genius.
4-ways.
Is this genius?
It's
better.
Is this the thought process that got them to do? Should we just do an entire pay-per-view that's 4-ways?
God, that was trash.
On another pod where we have some time, we're going to play a game of that because I guarantee it'll be really fun because you two have got amazing memories. See if you can remember all the matches and who was in it.
Fatal 4. Oh god,
Fred was so broken.
They just did one, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did that and they did was Breaking Point.
Failure of
time they were doing
failure of a concept.
June or July 2010. Yeah, like the Fed was so broken, top down, all the way through the company. The DVD cover of that show was like Fatal 4-way. All the champions that won the matches on the front cover holding the belts up.
Brilliant.
So you're in the shop and it spoiled the 3 title matches that were Fatal 4-ways. It's like the 3 winners, and then I think the last quadrant was a 4. Just to get, did you get it?
I think I was out at the time of watching Fed because I remember.
Don't blame you.
I seem to remember I walked in somewhere. It might have been a few days later.
Is his mic still working, by the way?
We good?
Still good. I walked in somewhere. I think it must have been like later when they're just re-showing it, like in like a Barracuda or those sorts of bars. And I saw it up and I was like, oh, right. It's like, I don't know. I can't even remember any person. Cena, presumably.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's like a four-way with like Kane and people like that in it. I was like, anyway, off the night out. Went back later. There's another four-way going on. Another four-way. I had no idea about what was going on at the time. But, bring it back. I think that's what we've settled on there.
You couldn't bring it back these days anyway, because like that main event had like, oh God, they're all gone. It was like Cena, Sheamus, Orton.
Anyway, during a commercial break, Chad Gable cut a promo annoyed that neither he or El Grande Americano are in King of the Ring. And then we got Chad Gable versus AJ Styles. Early on, the Creeds provide a distraction that allows Gable to trip Styles on the apron and toss him off. Come back, Gable gets hit with a torture rack bomb for a 2 count. And comes back. He dumps Styles on his head. It was class. Goes up top, gets a 2 count off a diving headbutt. Goes to the moonsault, but Styles catches him up there and powerbombs him down. Styles goes for the Styles Clash, but Julius saves Gable whilst Brutus is up on the apron, distracting the referee. So Styles just takes him out on the floor, goes for a phenomenal forearm. Gable grabs the leg and puts in an ankle lock, but Styles gets out of it.
Styles.
AJ
Styles. That's kind of what he is.
And he hit the Styles Clash for the 3 count.
This was all right. All right.
Not bad at all.
It's like, there was a story coming up about AJ Styles, like potentially being, was he in a contract year or he potentially?
I keep hearing the whispers.
Yeah.
But I don't care enough about AJ Styles really to dig in.
Well, we'd like to see Will Ospreay versus AJ Styles.
And Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, right, if it was to be his last year in WWE, this is sort of like the babyface version of the John Cena one because nobody knows it's happening, but it's actually all right. Like, they're actually all right is most of AJ Styles' WWE run.
Hang on, wait a second. So you've got actually all right AJ Styles, terrible John Cena, and in the middle, remember when Jeff Jarrett said this was going to be his last year?
God, what the hell?
I've forgotten that. Or
I think he's tried to figure that. He's still doing the panels before the pay-per-view. He's like, he said you were wrapping up, Jeff. You need to get on to burying some people. I need to cause a kick-off in the locker room. Jeff's the only one that can save this. No, I like this.
I'm still fighting for this, Jeff.
Few little details. Did you see Chad Gable like checking his face before the diving headbutt and then remembering he was Chad Gable and not El Grande
I did not.
Americano?
That's good.
I missed that.
It kind of went like that. The extra selling he was doing that made Michael Cole all the angrier. It's because he was in a ladder match.
Yeah.
Like, where Barrett's like, hard-hitting match for Chad Gable at World's Collide.
Yeah, Vikingo, took him to the limit.
Again, now they've dialed back the bigotry. I really think they're nailing El Grande Americano. And I'm back in love with the Creeds, just in general, because I saw like a TikTok that they travel with Ivy Nile. And they were doing this, I don't know if it's like a trend at the moment where like people in jobs saying what they do, right? And it kept cutting between the three. So you've got Julius being like, I'm a traveling wrestler. I book the cars. And then it goes to Ivy Nile. I'm a traveling wrestler. I book the gyms. And then it goes to Brutus. I'm Brutus. And then there's like another
lazy bastard not doing anything.
And there's like 2 or 3 rounds of it where like each run of 3 just like there's one where he's just like sat in front of a plate like, and then another where he's like in bed having to be woken up. I'm Brutus.
Hasn't he got like a YouTube channel or something he posts where he just like eats food basically? I swear I saw a picture of him eating like a big crisp or something.
Oh, it sounds awesome. He's
like, look this up.
I like that he comes out in like a crop top as well. Like when he comes out with Chad. But yeah, so I'm back with those guys. That's a nice bit of business, this. AJ's quietly posted a few of these nice bit of businesses on TV of late.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not the match I have anything insightful or really passionate to say about, but
It's just a picture of him with a giant burger there.
Look,
that's
do
tremendous.
food reviews on his channel.
It's like a toy or a cartoon, that, doesn't it? The salad is particularly green, like a Simpsons shade of green.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably Photoshop within an inch of its life, but I digress. No, I've got nothing really to say about it other than, and this is quite big for me, big breakthrough, was I watched it and thought, this is nice, this is some of the pro wrestling. Again, checks and championships. This was just a nice little bit of maintenance booking. Well, Chad Gable should probably win because he's more prominent than AJ Styles. And I loved that counter to the phenomenal forearm. Like, almost, I know it is the most stunningly uninsightful comparison ever because, you know, the aesthetic, the moveset, He kind of wants to be Kurt Angle a bit, Chad Gable. He had that sort of, you can have the style of Kurt Angle, very difficult to get the substance, but that sort of predatory instinct was Angle-esque, it was.
It'd be impossible to do this on account of Angle's, and this is absolutely no shade. He earned what his body is like now. Because of Angle's body shape, it'd be impossible to do. But if there was ever a situation in which the Grande Americano unmasking was Kurt Angle. If he was beaten down, so you wouldn't have had to see him come out with that like arched frame. And he's like, Grande Americano's been laid out. And he's like, finally, we've got a chance to take the mask off. And
it's a meme face as well.
Yeah.
Kurt.
If this fizzles out, which, to be honest, the vast majority of pro wrestling storylines and character arcs do, I think that's why the Hollywood ending was so striking. It's like, they've peaked at the finish and it's just done.
Yeah.
A lot of things just fizzle out. Punk and Seth, fingers crossed, might have fizzled out.
Yeah.
Though it does fuel my agenda. Maybe I would like to see it in spite of myself. No, like if this fizzles out, it's like, right, okay. They could do a side gag where it's like, not off air, but not in the ring, not in the live ring. A backstage seg where waist up, you don't see the posture. You're seeing like against a wall, and like we're finally getting to the bottom of the secret identity of El Grande Americano. And it was just Kurt Angle, and then, right, okay, the character's over, and that was just a cute. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Or Hornswoggle. That's always quite a funny. Anyway, could Chad Gable become a world champion? If you want to know Michael's...
with your other friends.
I haven't got any other friends. Could Chad
So
Gable...
jokes on you.
Yeah. Could Chad Gable become a world champion? If you want to know Michael Sidgwick's thoughts on that, we discussed it yesterday on the Q&A, as well as what animals we'd like to be as a wrestler after Mr. Iguana.
Oh, he's going to have to tell us after this what he's picked.
Well, let's do it now.
Yeah.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
What animal am I as a wrestler?
It's a great pick.
It's a great pick.
Some sort of bird.
Nope.
Power of flight is one I would have seen you picking. I don't know. For some reason, I don't know why, because as soon as I thought about it, I was like, well, you wouldn't pick that. For some reason, like a lion came into my head, but I don't think you'd pick lion.
Getting closer.
It's like if somebody's calling themselves a lion, there's a bit of vanity to it, isn't there? And you're not a vain person in that regard. Like
it's a good
kind of the king of the jungle around it. Like I don't think you'd do that.
Yeah,
like,
I would ironically, but
yeah.
Sid just used his like smarts here. It's the thinking behind it is very solid, but you're along the right lines far more with lion than you were with bird.
A leopard.
oh, you're so close. You're so
Tiger.
close. No.
Cheetah, baby.
Cheetah.
Nope.
Puma.
Think of
That's so close.
think of an American football team.
You're not a Jacksonville Jaguar.
We're not at Jacksonville.
Yeah,
all right.
He's
I'm a Jaguar because the premise, the thinking, the rationale was like, my cat has this mad half hour every single morning. And the speed and acceleration on this creature is absolutely incredible. Like, she's got a little toy mouse. She goes on haunches and like she pretends to hunt it. That's like one of her games. And then she just races. It's like she can get from the living room to the end of the kitchen in like 1 second. It's like nothing I've ever seen. But so I want the agility and the speed of a cat, but put some musculature on there, and then he become a jaguar. You're in trouble.
I'm serious.
Is that his catchphrase?
Yeah.
Got a promo, yeah, forgot about
Jaguar is a jacked cat.
You're in trouble when you mess with Mr. Jaguar.
And that's who AJ is going to fight when he goes to AEW. Mr. Jaguar.
Yeah. That's
When he goes to AEW.
that's the catchphrase.
Dog.
No.
Jolly dog.
No. Again, I was using my old noggin. It doesn't really work, does it?
I can't remember yours.
If you just pick the one with the biggest knob or something.
Horse with a big dick.
I did say giraffe at one point because I was just looking past Sage.
I said it was too easy to stun her.
There's that video where like You know, on 4U when it gives you like violent animals, and there's a giraffe where it's just like stomping a mud hole in some animal.
Swings its neck, doesn't it?
You can't see what the animal is. It's in a river, and the giraffe's kicking its head, just like Seth Rollins
Kicking its
stopped.
I should say
head.
kangaroo now I think about it.
Yeah.
Jack Kangaroo.
Yes, the Jack Kangaroo, yeah. Banter, but...
Yeah. Go then.
Yeah.
Oh!
I don't know. I'd have just assumed, like, jolly dog, funny dog, and, like, especially because he would
I'm
be
not messing around with it.
a natural opponent for Mr. Jaguar as well. What's the curly-whirly of animals? It's the giraffe. I don't know.
A chameleon. So I can change my wrestling style depending on who I'm facing.
It's a bit on the nose after Mr. Iguana, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, but
you're
like-
not stretched very far away from that genre.
Better. I've made it better.
You Mr. Iguana in his WrestleMania attire.
Yeah.
Which colour is it?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, that wouldn't work, would it? Because you'd look like the other wrestler.
Yeah, I sort of cheated. It doesn't really work.
It wouldn't
like I
change
said.
your. Wouldn't change your
That's
skill
not what
set.
comedians can do. They can't change what they. Oh, I've fallen off a cliff. I can fly now. I just look like water now. Oh, bollocks! And then
Still dead.
Just drowned. Still, it's all dead. Everyone knows that.
It's all dead, as tweeted from an account called Nature is Amazing.
Yes.
Right, we see Roxanne Perez chatting to Liv Morgan in the gorilla position.
That's an animal.
That is a
Come on, guys.
that is a segue.
Just pick that one up. That's an animal with the Dudley Boys dog. That's an animal.
Liv tells
Let us know your favourite animals in the comments below, and we'll tell you if that's an animal.
Cat dog. No, that's a cartoon character, I'm afraid.
Well, it's
I've got the wrong lights on. Yeah, I mean, like, it should be them lights, right? It's feeling very smackdowny.
Yeah, actually,
Sidge was enjoying the bit before then. He was like, you nearly got sucked
I need to remind you. I just need to remind you every time. You know?
sucked into the vortex.
Yeah.
what about draw a picture and tweet at us, and we'll say whether or not we think it's an animal.
Yes. Good engagement and retention. Because now they need to know.
What happened next on Raw?
Yeah, sorry, Liv and Roxanne are in gorilla
Man, he was into
position.
it before.
No, but
You reminded me, you held a mirror up to his face.
Yeah,
he needs a reality check every night. Thank you. I like to keep him honest.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Liv says, I'm going to win. Queen
He's
of
the only
Ring.
one who's got any integrity left. I've got to keep him real.
Thank you.
It's all right.
He doesn't. Come on.
I tried, Sidge. I'm sorry.
Liv says,
Really like, all I can picture him is in Stadium Stampede. Mr. Jaguar. Mr.
Jaguar.
In comes the Wilbourn giraffe.
What was Mr. Jaguar's catchphrase?
You're in trouble when you're messing with the. One more time. You're in trouble. Right, okay, rule 3. I can be intimidating once.
I'm watching this.
You're in trouble when you mess with Mr. Jaguar. I can't keep doing it. Have a glass of water. Oh, right, okay. One more time.
Right, okay.
Hey, Kubrick does more takes than this. It's fine.
Reload the thing. Let's go.
Okay. You get my mean face on. You're in trouble when you mess with Mr. Jaguar.
Now that's an animal.
That's an animal.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, Christ.
So they're in gorilla position, sorry. Liv says I'm a giraffe. Queen of the Ring. I want to defeat Yo Sky and win back my title, basically. Roxanne's like, oh, cool, yeah, we should work together. And then, either way, one of us is going to bring the title back to the Judgment Day. Liv's like, stay out of my way. And Roxanne's like, hey, may the best one win. Liv says, I will.
Yeah.
And then we get the four-way. Liv, Roxanne, Kairi, Sane, and Rhea Ripley. And Morgan sort of, early in the match, realizes, probably do need to actually team up with Roxanne. Especially when Rhea tries to riptide Liv Morgan and Roxanne goes to the knee. They team up and beat her down, and then Liv and Roxanne gorilla press Kairi, and chuck her onto Rhea on the floor to take us to a break. When we come back, Roxanne goes for pop rocks in the corner, but Rhea breaks it up with a drop kick. Liv hits a springboard code-breaker on Rhea, and Kairi saves the match at that point. And an Alabama slam by Kairi on Roxanne. She goes up top, but Liv crotches her, and they go to do a double suplex on Kairi, but Rhea just picks them both up and slams them down. And Kairi hits a flying forearm for a 2 count. Rhea blocks the spinning back fist from Kairi Sane. Sane gets her an ankle pick, stamps on her back. Liv hits a backstabber on Kairi. Rhea fires up, German suplex to Liv, fall away slam to Roxanne. Kairi gets booted, Roxanne gets headbutted. Liv goes for the Oblivion, but Rhea blocks it, hits the Riptide, but out of nowhere, Raquel Rodriguez pulls Rhea out of the ring and they fight. Kairi jumps off the top rope onto them, goes back up top, hits the insane elbow on Liv. But suddenly here comes Roxanne Perez, who stacks Kairi up as she's trying to pin Liv Morgan and gets the 1-2-3. Roxanne Perez advances.
Nobody will speak about this at the end of 2025, and it's the fault of the churn, because this was just about everything I could ever wish for from a WWE TV match. We've got like a really high stakes one in the main event, but you don't need high stakes every week. But stakes are a benefit, and stakes really help, and the thirst and the desire to win, and that getting increasingly desperate as the match wears on, as they all realise how they're within touching distance of something, is always helpful. Problem is that too often that's why you have too many belts, because people can't be asked to tell stories or come up with stakes that are not belts. This, however, just nailed it in terms of like emphasising the importance of the Queen of the Ring, and then using the players you had. This was so thoughtful. I was so impressed with how this was arranged and then subsequently agented. Felt like the two were like working together. Like, what are we after achieving out of this, right? We've got the Judgment Day internal conflict with Liv and Roxanne. Well, how can we illustrate that? Well, why don't we call all the way back to Liv and Rhea's, at this point, like legacy rivalry around being in the Judgment Day, and you've got all the physical cues of that then Roxanne Perez gets to almost pick a side, which she does. Kairi Sane, at this point, probably needs a bit of movement around her to remind people what you loved about Kairi Sane, and this was, what a presentation of her this was. Like, to do that double insane elbow to the floor and then be so directly involved in the finish was the best use of her in hiding what has been a bit of a flawed game since she's returned. So, like, she was the perfect fourth wheel in there, if you want. And then in the meantime, the finish was inspired. Like, that is the ultimate kind of protection can be good finishing.
Yeah, because you could see it coming. Sorry to interrupt. You could see it coming, and I was like, how are they going to spin this? She's going to chuck Kairi Sane out the ring and pin Liv Morgan and be like, well, better me to pin you than Kairi. Yeah. She didn't do that.
She didn't steal that pin on Liv and thus create the obvious sense of tension that Liv wouldn't then have to walk into the Judgment Day locker at the clubhouse afterwards and be like, I'm really angry what he did. She'd have to deck her. Yeah. So you can't create a situation in which she's decking. You've got to keep that tension bubbling. And then in the meantime, what I assume is happening is with the Rhea Raquel interaction, you've presumably set up like Liv and Raquel defending the belts against this like all-star tag team potentially at Evolution with what we had later in the show. Oh my God. This is it. This is WWE just the way I want it. Like, loved it.
This, again, like, wasn't out of this world amazing action-wise, but my God, I had a great time watching it in the moment. I will say as well, like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and do the whole thing about Kairi Sane because she has been pretty rubbish. I saw her in that match graphic and thought, like, multi-man women matches, like, her timing can be real off a lot of the time. Sometimes she just daydreams. Daydreaming Kairi. That's what I call her. And I thought, my God, like, she's going to have to switch on because you really have to be in position. This is her best individual showing that I can remember in ages and ages and ages. She was exactly where she needed to be, and she had a strong, emphasized role in the match. And again, like, it's a cheat code. 4-ways are a cheat code. Often informed when they're big matches by not very good storylines, hence why people really sort of critique them. But this is how you use them. You use these, like, they got it the wrong way around at WrestleMania for me. You use them in this context to build toward a singles match. I couldn't predict who was going to win, and they had so many really cool counters in like that seesawing momentum. Like when Liv Morgan came out of nowhere, what's her move? Oblivion.
The Oblivion. The one on Rhea.
Oh, the one on Rhea.
Where she just...
And then she held on to him. Yeah, you got those palpitations, which is rare for a Fed match. I thought this was a really good bit of business.
Some of that was really rooted in the we go a long way back, you and I.
Yeah.
And again, like they kind of knew what they were playing with there. And like,
that like Liv Morgan has this ability, and it's so rare, where she almost seems to feel every second of her performance. She never just goes through the motions and whatever. It felt like she was harnessing still a year's worth of rage when she unleashed that primal shriek. Really good stuff there, so it really was.
We get a Nikki Bella video package, and then she's there backstage with Maxine Dupri and Natalia.
No! 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 No!
That was, you can look, but you can't touch.
Where is that button on the
I
soundboard?
think it's playing up again. Nikki introduces herself to Io Sky. She's got so much respect for the representation Io has for the entire women's division, and Io thanks Nikki for paving the way for her.
I mean, come on. It's nice.
It's almost like Rey Mysterio going, I'm so glad that WWE is finally endorsing Lucha Libre. Now it's a real thing. I mean, come on. I hate the Fed fundamentally. It's rational as well. It's a totally rational hatred. And it's stuff like this that makes me hate it.
Here.
Yeah.
Made me laugh. Becky Lynch makes new women's Intercontinental Champion. Becky Lynch makes her way down to the ring. Then she just doesn't talk. She goes, "Where's the you deserve it chance?" I thought this was great from Becky. She is out here celebrating because there's so few opportunities for her to celebrate anything new at this point. She's won everything. She's a best-selling author, and now she's the Women's Intercontinental Champion. She says, "Welcome to the big-time Intercontinental Championship. You've just become the greatest prize in all of wrestling simply because I'm your owner." But she's got a problem. She should have spent the weekend celebrating with her hot husband and her beautiful child, but no, because of that disingenuous, integrityless, shame to my hometown bird lady, Lyra Valkyria, ruined everything. She was so enraged when I won on Saturday. And proved that I'm once and for all the better woman. She raised my hand so aggressively. She dislocated my shoulder. And then, after that, I'm a bigger person. I extended the olive branch and I said, "Hey, let's put this tiff behind us. Now you've hurt my shoulder. Please help me put the belt on." She lost it. She went crazy. She tried to kill me. She could have killed him. So I'm going to ask this crazy bird lady to come out here and simply do two things. One, apologise. And two, raise my hand again, but this time raise it right. Lyra comes out. I saw this described online as like a cartoon character. It did. She did come out like, right, that's it. I'm going to deal with you. But...
Bit feddy.
Yeah, a bit acty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just thought it was a funny visual. Right, I'm not happy about this. Just holding her back at Gorilla before she can go out.
She's not got great I'm running down to attack music because you can hear it going, duh, 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 woo! Yeah. And it's like really like picks away at that. I'm bloody furious, woo! That's because you're a bird person. That like we're stuck with what we're stuck with here.
Yeah. Spitting feathers here. No, that'd be better.
Yeah. What was that saying, sorry?
First promo by Mr. Bird.
Yeah.
Ahead of his showdown with Mr. Jaguar.
Mr. Jaguar, that bird's in trouble. Let me tell you that.
But suddenly, as all this is going on, Bayley returns. She attacks Becky Lynch from behind. Becky bails straight into Lyra, who chucks her back in. And Bayley sets up for the Rose Plant, but Becky has to shake it off and bail through the audience. Great to see Bayley.
This is what you do. Like, this is obviously what they set up ahead of Becky's return. I was whelmed, neither over nor under with this, realistically. Like, it's there was probably more interesting way to get to Bayley's return than this, but it wasn't bad either. Like, it was one attack. There's going to be segments. There's going to be... I think the match between them two, they can make feel massive. Like, an intercontinental title match between those two Evolution is itself almost like a... Right, the two old workers of the Four Horsewomen, often overlooked, but kind of became stars on their own terms. There's generations now that are coming up underneath the genuine legacy that we're going to leave behind, and we're going to wrestle for the work rate belt at this show. I think that's a nice spot that this can occupy.
I mean, yeah, for me, this happened. With Bayley, she hasn't had a good 12 months buy off, so I can't really get excited about a return, which saddens me. Legacy Bayley fan I am, but what else you got?
they kind of Tekla her a little bit as well. You know, when like Tekla debuted against Jamie Hayter and Excalibur was like, out of the way, you, like men stuff to talk about. The formatting choice here was a bit like, right, Bailey's back, so what? Because like what we got straight into. So
yeah, R-Truth, Ron Killings jumped up on the announce table at this point, wearing the same outfit he did to reveal himself at Money in the Bank. And he says, don't let nobody tell you that you don't matter. No one tell you that your voice doesn't matter. They heard, they listened, they felt, and they understood. I'm back because of you all. You brought R-Truth back. You want truth, you've got R-Truth. We won. R-Truth is back for all of you, every last one of you. But R-Truth is back for me too. You see, not only did you bring truth back, you got me. Now we all love R-Truth. I love R-Truth too, but R-Truth can be too funny at times. Can be too nice, too forgiving. Not me. I wish you would. I feel alive. For any of you that thinks I'm a lie, think I'm some sort of sideshow act, you think I'm a gimmick, and he pulls out a pair of scissors and cuts off his dreadlocks. He says, R-Truth, the truth has set me free. I am Ron Killings. I am the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Now put some respect on my name. Fans love this.
good stuff. Yeah, like content delivery strong. Didn't really attempt to tie any kind of case into it because they can't, and fans don't seem to care on evidence.
No.
The response to the cutting of the dreads was perfect. Like, if they were looking around in that crowd and all you got were faces of, like, confusion, why is this, what's he doing? But it wasn't. It was, like, actual people just gasping, you know, like Undertaker just lost a streak sort of faces. And they weren't hard to find. There was loads, and there was noise accompanying it as well. This resonated, and that's the main thing, because 53, 54? A 53-year-old Ron Killings has got to get in there and wrestle in a way more credibly than R-Truth did. And I would say that's an uphill battle for him, without any disrespect intended either. To wrestle in the way that this character is speaking is going to be tough. So when the bell rings, dunno. But absolutely, like this is like making hay when the sun shines. If you're Ron Killings, like decent delivery, all that kind of stuff. I was into this.
I thought, right, that he did an excellent job with a really, really complex task. Like, I understand the circumstances are what they are, and that, you know, there's a lot of sympathy for Ron Killings' R-Truth. A lot of people are prepared to back him on what he's about to do next, regardless of what it is or how sharp a pivot it is, you know? But if you said a month ago, R-Truth's going to cut this really good promo on Raw and everyone's going to start taking him seriously as a serious threat and actual, like, proper wrestler, for lack of a better phrase, you know, I just would have said no. And he did. He absolutely did. I'm letting this one play out. R-Truth was never my guy. Like, I'm almost baffled that this has happened, honestly. I thought they were going to just no-sell it and it would have went away. But they've done it. Maybe it was a good PR move. But, like, the guy, like, considering what he had to reconcile, like, they can't tell the story because the story, which they have to talk around for the second time this night, like, makes WWE the heel. So they can't really do that, nor should they. It would make no sense. Like, even I'm a pedantic arsehole, doesn't necessarily like the Fed a lot. But even I'm not going, well, this doesn't make sense. I mean, I did, I guess, on the
Well, they need
the
to do
bank
20
review.
years if they couldn't be
You know what I mean?
That was like such an important task.
It makes no sense for them to heal the company. It is catastrophic. AEW did that to catastrophic effect in storylines last year. So as much as the pedantic part of my brain does want to say it makes no sense in what we're doing here, you can't, and it's stupid. Like, what you should be doing trumps logic every time in a case like this. And the guy, the human being, has played a total blinder, had them over a barrel. Like, fair play to the dude, and he's got people taking him seriously. And this is, R-Truth. Like, what he had to reconcile here was fiendishly difficult, and the guy's only gone and done it.
Might be, but
still not. I'm sorry. I'm analyzing this detached. I can't sit here and lie and go, go R-Truth. But my God, the respect for him's gone up.
Well, yeah, like this is probably too utopian a take. It is wrestling, but if you look at the outpouring of support from people, like present day wrestlers for R-Truth, and you could probably count on, like, I was going to say one hand, maybe it's like one or two fingers, the amount of wrestlers that would act the same way R-Truth did in that circumstance when it came to, I'm not going to take your call, I'll take it when I'm ready, and if I'm re-sign, I want this and this and this and this. Like, maybe that love and support they had for him when he got released has gone in double now that he's gotten this, and it will remind wrestlers of their value. They are some of the most paid athletes in the world, and like that will never change. But when you get released or when your contract comes due, or whatever, like know that a bit of power. Like this time last week, it was like idiots were saying this, naive fools were saying this, but like it's never been tighter and more awful under the TKO regime. Now they're doing exactly what WWE's always done, and for the most part, what wrestling's done. If 2 or 3 wrestlers have been empowered by the way R-Truth behaved and do the same themselves when it's their time, when this thing comes around, great. Like he's really left things in better place than how he found them, you know? Like,
he's just done this really savvy, completely free of risk because there's no risk to like, oh, you're going to drop the R-Truth character. No, you can do it in conventions for the rest of his life. He's got a personal itch. He wanted one last serious stab at this. He's doing it. And if it fails, he's one of the biggest news stories of the year. And he can just be R-Truth for the rest of his life, irrespective of whether or not this fails. It's not a risk, but it's very clever.
We go to the clubhouse, sort of, just in the hallway, basically. But Dom's warming up for his match. Finn Balor walks in and says, "It's strange. You got in the King of the Ring tournament, I didn't." Dom's like, "Well, no, you got your chance at Money in the Bank. That didn't work out. So I thought it'd be all right if, I represent the Judgment Day here. You all right? You upset or something?" No, I'm fine, mate. I'm fine. Everything's working out fine. And then, speaking of which, in walks Roxanne Perez. He's like, "Hey, here she is. Hey, congratulations, Roxanne." JD in the ribs. You say congratulations. All right.
Finn was so funny.
Tell her. I watched it. I watched this. Then I watched it again because I wanted to make sure I got everything right here. Then I watched it again and just watched Finn Balor's face. It went from like, "Hey,"
it's just the idea of like, you congratulate her. Go on, you congratulate. Like, really?
"Hey, JD." He's like, "Yeah, all right, well done." And he's like, "Go on, Dom, you congratulate." "Oh, no, go on, Dom, you congratulate her." Dom sort of really reluctantly at me, goes, "Yeah, I saw it out there. Good job." Obviously, the moment he says good job, Liv Morgan walks in. Liv's like, "What's everyone celebrating then?" Dom's like, "I've got a match, I better." And Roxanne says, "Look, I was just trying to help you out by stopping Kairi from pinning you." And Liv just goes, "Is that what you did? Congrats then." She leaves, and Finn's like, "Ooh, should probably go talk to her, Dom." And Dom's like, I've got my match. I've got to go." Finn goes, "Oh, no." He's absolutely loving this.
A few weeks ago, or over the last few weeks, I should say, people would do some noticing that they'd been tucking the old demon iconography in the background, and this week they just brought it right to the foreground.
Yeah.
So that's either was never going to be a thing, and it was like, oh, they're bringing back some sort of like little bastard demon version of it, like the third demon. You've had original demon, fine, got over in NXT. Tongue demon, gross, hated it.
Fish demon.
Actually, yeah, I forgot about Fish Demon. Fish Demon, who is the worst demon because he's the only one that lost. Fish Demon was defeated.
It's a fish out of water, mate. So
I'd say he's never going to use that. He's never going to use Fish Demon again. So like Bastard Demon could be brand new, but this week it was just right there the whole time. So maybe they were doing that as if to say some speculators are new to Sin and we need to kill that. He's not doing that anytime soon. He was a fish last time. I thought Finn Balor was excellent here. I enjoyed this.
Aye. I mean, they're all complete idiots, and it's an idiot plot. I will say that it works for Dominik Mysterio because you can buy him as an idiot because he's an excellent, excellent character. Liv Morgan not being able to snuff this out is just, I mean, they're all idiots, and it's an idiot plot. Let's move on.
So Dom was in action in the first...
Finn's good. He's always had patter.
Yeah.
Captain f***ing New Japan.
Put the bag on his head.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, yeah. Dom was in action in this King of the Ring qualifier next. It's Dom, Penta, Sami Zayn, and Bron Breakker. I love him so much. Some moves happen, but all I remember is Dom got his head taken off with a clothesline as we go to a break early on. When we come back, Zayn takes out Bron with a dive. Penta takes out Zayn with a dive. Dom takes out Penta with a dive into a DDT. Looked great. And then to take us to another break, Breakker does that awesome leaping clothesline off the apron but over the announce table where everyone just eats crap, basically.
Always puts it somewhere different. We talk about this, like he sees the value of that as being like, it's supposed to be chaos rather than Bron Breakker doing that spot. Like, I like that.
Penta powerbombs Dom, but Breakker runs the corner and hits a super Frankensteiner. Penta comes back and hits Breakker with a DDT. Dom tries to steal the pin, but Breakker kicks out. Dom blocks Zayn's Blue Thunder Bomb, tries for the Three Amigos, gets 2. Zayn blocks it the third time and hits a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2 count. Penta hits Zayn with a Penta driver and a Canadian Destroyer on Dom for a near fall. And then Breaker runs around the ring and just cuts Penta in half with a spear. But suddenly, there's L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
With a BFT to Bron Breakker for what happened on Saturday, of course. And back in the ring, Zayn hits Dom with an exploder and a haluva kick for the 1-2-3.
That's an interesting overlap I didn't expect. The LA Knight wanting to get some revenge for what happened to Money in the Bank. It could be a one and done, and it could he's a guy that is now taking revenge, and that could feed into the Aleister Black stuff on SmackDown and a potential heel turn. And it could still be that, and this was a one night thing, and he's done. But he's now raised the ire of the Seth Rollins stable, and that could be something, for LA Knight. Who knows? I like this in the way that I like Raw currently. You could do this. Not exactly beat for beat, because you wouldn't get the wrestlers doing the same moves, but you could do this with like the SmackDown mid-card, and it would be half as hot and half as exciting, and it would be about half as valuable because the wrestlers in that SmackDown mid-card just don't feel anywhere near as big as stars. These were 4 big stars that you could believe were willing to throw it all on the line to win the King of the Ring, because that's the route to the belt, and they all believe they're there. Dominik Mysterio's got the title that theoretically always keeps him next in line, and he's got that big head. Bron Breakker's a guy that is being gassed up by Seth Rollins and everybody else into being like one of the next big things. Like, I say this all the time, I love Penta's aura remaining in place when it falls for so many, when the company's on a bit of a creative decline. Penta seems to be arresting that. This was a real nice glimpse at I didn't think this was entertaining as a women's match, to be honest, but it was a really nice glimpse at like a healthy mid-card, like maintenance stuff, encouraging maintenance stuff.
The right winner as well.
Yeah.
Again, don't do it every single week. Certainly don't do it too often at WrestleMania. But, a 4-way match inherently will just get you. It'll catch you out if it's well worked enough. And this wasn't amazing, but it was well worked enough, where you just completely start to losing your head, keeping track of, who's going to win here. You forget the rhythms of it. They're like a cheat code to drama and excitement. This was precisely that. I thought Bron Breakker operates so well in this context. He was like the standout, a really savvy way of just telling you again and again and again, this guy rules, this guy rules. He's going to be the king of this place in about 2 years, and we're going to keep telling you this over and over and over again. Really good stuff.
Sami Zayn on a world...
empty calories, but...
Yeah. Sami Zayn on a world title hunt would be, I would say, the one contrast to that. He's... Again, I would have him fall short. I think Sami Zayn is a WrestleMania.
I did
see the continuing title hunts of Sami Zayn lead to a WrestleMania payoff.
I did see a pitch that was so good, so heartbreaking, but so good as well, which is Sami does it. He wins King of the Ring in Saudi, Gunther at SummerSlam. He's got it. He maybe even hits I don't know if they said this, but in my head, this is what happens. Hits the Brainbuster, he hit on what was it? He hit on the top.
Brainbuster.
Yeah, Brainbuster. He's got it won. Seth cashes in. Yes, takes it away from him. Or even just he just wins. Yay, Seth. Thank you very much. I'll take it from here.
I mean,
you bastard.
Sami Zayn, and this is as complimentary a comparison as there is a Daniel Bryan adjacent guy, and if you were going to do that story at a SummerSlam and actually tell the story rather than just lie and pretend it was the story.
And meticulously plot it, and make me excited about it.
Yeah. Seth Rollins is the authority heel that people enjoy watching rather than
I hate it now.
Summer of 2013,
I hate it now.
It's a Saudi Rumble as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So he wins that.
Just like Daniel.
Get the Big Show back. Doing all Sami Zayn's taunts.
I spoke to Sami, he told me.
A dance that Sami likes to do.
Comes on stage and dances.
Kathy Kelly interviews AJ Styles, who can't enjoy his victory tonight because he can't stop thinking about what happened last week. Seth Rollins had his lackey Paul Heyman come and threaten him. Judgment Day is still running their mouths. Doesn't care about how you conduct your business. If you cross AJ Styles, he's going to punch you in the mouth. And then Kathy realizes that there's commotion. It's Grayson Bloody Waller talking to the New Day about Austin Theory. And Kathy, quite rightly, is like, when are you going to defend your tag titles again? They're like, we just did it. We got a true number one contender. We should defend against any random tag team. Thank God for the New Day. Something and nothing.
Grayson Waller convinces him into having a title shot, and then that's the split. New Day convince him to bin his mate.
Oh God, I can't talk about this. I can't talk
awful.
about this. I refuse.
I apologise for bringing it up.
Thank you.
That happened on telly. What happened during the break was far more interesting because Sami Zayn's walking backstage and he bumps into a slow. Oh, you're right. That's the only thing I don't. The only thing I actually watch is this segment when it's like this little time comes up. I don't need to watch any of that. It was in the ad break. Wait a second. That's Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross there, slow clapping Sami, and then he goes, "Yes, Sami!" Like that. Congratulations. You won the match. And it wasn't you and Jey Uso or you and CM Punk. You did it on your own. But the best part about this is you took my message to heart. Zayn's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, mate. Karrion's like, no. Don't do that. You know exactly what you did. Sami, you saw an opportunity and you seized the moment. You used LA Knight to get ahead. Normally, you're the guy taking the beatings to help other people succeed, but not tonight. You did exactly what needed to be done. And that is the real Sami Zayn. That is a future world champion, and that is a manipulator. And Zayn says, no, I won because I was good enough. Just like I'm good enough to win the world title. You just leave me alone. Stop bothering me. Because I'm also good enough to handle you. And Karrion watches as he leaves and just chuckles.
The great
Karrion's plans worked again. Sami won the King of the Ring qualifier, so
yeah.
my work here is done.
I thought this was odd that it wasn't on the show. There was a lot.
That's what they
It's not the point. I just don't like him very much.
There was a lot to
They
that.
obviously don't like him that much. I mean, they don't.
The great manipulator being an element of Sami Zayn's eventual heel turn is something that I could actually see. And that getting thrown in at the point at which Karrion Kross can yet again lay claim to laying the foundations for all of this. Yeah.
Karrion Kross releases the documentary.
It's increasingly becoming a nonsense.
Yeah. I'm a 6 on this, I think. If you're a 10.
11.
You're an 11, yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Sidge is a foul.
yeah.
Maybe a 3.
He hasn't popped me in a while, Karrion.
Can't even tell you the poor sod.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah, that says it all.
So I also, do you know what?
I always feel bad.
Well,
That doesn't bother me. I'm still loving it regardless.
No, it's okay. They're all and it's not going anywhere.
I don't watch Main Event, right? But every week I find myself watching Karrion Kross's match on Main Event because somebody uploads the whole thing on Twitter and be like, guys, aura, and I play it and there's none.
What's going on?
So what is it? So which is it? Like, because I'm with you on the promos, and I think what takes me down to a 6 is when somebody's
That's
like,
what you're doing. Don't watch the matches.
well,
Don't watch that.
not ordinarily I would agree, but like these Twitter accounts that post them, like type it in all caps, so they must be right.
Yeah.
And then
So what you
sure
need to
enough,
watch is Cesaro like runs wild, like around the ring, take them.
I've got Bleach's headphones in quite a lot.
He never does
so-
anything.
Yeah, I sometimes think, my headphones must be connected to my phone because I'm watching on the screen. Oh no, I've got the volume all the way up. Like,
It's just not happening, is it? For him?
Next week on Raw. Oh, sorry, this is where we got the Asuka return video package. Really good news that she's coming back. She's in action against Stephanie Vaquer, Raquel Rodriguez, and Ivy Nile in the Queen of the Ring qualifier, King of the Ring qualifier. Sheamus, Rusev, Bronson Reed, and a mystery opponent.
Ooh.
We got ourselves a game on Monday. You can look, but you can't touch. Out comes Nikki Bella.
what was your side to say? I've forgotten what they're.
Oh, look, where is he?
Where is he?
What's
Well,
happening?
we could look from there and there, couldn't you?
Yeah.
He's not under there.
No.
Maybe he's El Grande Americano.
Good point.
We don't know who this mystery man is.
Nikki Bella comes out, says it's good to be back home. This was a very popular segment in the Wilbourn household. Louise is a huge Nikki Bella fan.
The Total Divas success and crossover was massive and like understated at the time.
Oh, aye.
And then
She's
like the data backs it up. It was massive for
She
WWE.
still calls, and this is not from her time in TNA or anything like that. She still calls her Trin. Like
Yeah.
Naomi, she calls, what's Trin doing? Oh, Trin's won there.
It's like an enormous crossover, bigger than the friggin' WBF or the XFL or the dumb stuff that like Vince McMahon ever tried. Like Total Divas was the one.
I still see clips of it on Instagram Reels and stuff to this day. It's like it has entered the consciousness, I guess. Like John Cena's House Rules. The men will retire to the cigar room. The men at the exact same minute, because that's when things get done. The men will retire to the cigar room, and the ladies will do this. And what a boring way to live.
Yeah. Look the worst, didn't it?
I hate John
But
Cena.
he did
I
get us
hate John
Maurice's
Cena.
Nikki Bella, so it's not all bad news.
Yeah.
I hate John Cena.
I do like the one where they play like beer pong or something. Absolutely schools her.
I've not, but what?
He's rather competitive.
I
John
don't
Cena.
want to say that I see something about myself in John Cena, right? But like, there's always this thing where me and the missus, when we first started going out, when like, she work because you just have loads of disposable income, or what feels like loads of disposable income, and no responsibilities.
Disposable time.
Yeah.
The best disposable
It's like, it's Tuesday. Bored of this work log. Should we go for a beer after work? Yep, absolutely. Then you go for like one pint. It's like, you could just do this all night if you wanted and have a second. Right, let's just give in. Should we go to the restaurant that we frequent? It's like, no, we've done that a lot recently. It's time. We should probably make the tea. Oh, whose turn is it? Because we would alternate. Oh, yeah, it's mine. We're going to Nudo. We're going to Nudo Noodle House. That's what we're doing here. I'm not cooking. It's like 7 o'clock. So when John Cena got surprised by Nikki Bella, when he was like, I will go out to a restaurant. You pick. He's like, no, I'm cooking you a meal. He's like, we want restaurant quality food, actually. I'm John Cena. I can afford it. I was like, I shouldn't identify with this guy, but I did on that night.
I can see me.
Yeah. I can't. Oh.
So Nikki thanks the WWE Universe and the Bella Army. She's missed us. She says next month, WWE Evolution is going to be taking place in Atlanta. Talks about main eventing the first one. This is an aura of where the division has gone since then. You look at the talent.
This is good because I did notice who she'd admitted.
Yeah.
Which means that Morgan is a star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at the talent, look at the stars. You've got Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and then there's these newcomers, Roxanne Perez, Julia, Stephanie Vaquet, So much talent in that female locker room. It's insane. I know I can speak on behalf of all the women in the past. We couldn't be prouder, couldn't be more grateful where the women are now at in this division. So proud. And Liv Morgan just storms out and saying, like, talking about the best women in the division, you should be talking about me. And Nikki's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean anything by that. Oh, I didn't mean it like that, says Liv. Well, too late, because I'm the most talented woman in this division. I've proved it again and again. I was women's champion all of last year. I was the first and only women's crown jewel champion. I'm breaking records as tag team champion. You know what, Nikki? You're lucky. You're lucky I wasn't around during your career, because I would have been champion and beaten you then too. But you know what? I'm done talking. I realise why you didn't mention me. Because you're jealous of me, because I've got everything you don't. I have respect, I have championships, and I have a man.
If it was like a regular divorce, it isn't. I mean, it's two grown-ups, two human beings have collaborated on this. It was a bit icky, but at the end of the day, they've agreed to it.
Fans went in on it, didn't they?
And Louise liked it. She even said it. She went through as she did the rule of three. And Louise was like, she's going to say a man here, isn't she? I got her, yeah. Nikki says, you know what, Liv? I get it. You lost tonight. You're angry. I don't blame you. It's a bad night for you. But speaking of your man, just trying to figure out who he belongs to. Is it you or Roxanne Perez? Oh, I'm confused. You know what, Liv? Do me a favour. Congratulate
Do me a favour, Liv.
Congratulate her for me for taking your title shot and taking your man. Oh, Nikki leaves the ring. Liv says, you know what, Nikki? You can say whatever you want because I'm still a champion and all you'll ever be is a reality show diva. And Nikki goes to get back in the ring to deal with her. But as she's doing that, she's in perfect position for Liv to hit Oblivion.
Oh my God.
The Oblivion was really nicely constructed,
great,
and
wasn't
it illustrated this potential gap between Nikki Bella then and Liv Morgan now. I do not appreciate the Fear More Nikki erasure. We all enjoyed the Riot Squad Bella Twins feud of 2018, did we not?
Yes, we did.
What was the other one? There was Fear Less, more like Fear More.
Yeah, that was Fear Less, Fear More. There was one of the bit of graffiti that they clearly had to do themselves in order to graffiti their own graffiti. It was the worst. It was the dirt where this was the same. Like, not to mock either people that get injured or injuries taking place, but this was like Brie Bella on her concussion run. Remember,
Yeah.
completely Liv full in the face and went flat on the mat, and then there was the dive, whatever. Like, decent booking. This felt like off the back of the Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley. What? He found it.
This is the origin, isn't it, of this? More like this.
More like this.
Yeah. Fearless Nikki. More like Fear More Nikki.
Should be like fearful.
Fearful. Worst ever.
Yeah.
And the other one says, Free mode, more like riot mode.
Jesus Christ. And that also implies, by the way,
So there's a sign, it also says welcome back.
So they've had to graffiti their own graffiti. This is the
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
the Bella's
yeah.
gone in there and thought, this is our locker room, let's decorate it. All right, Brie mode. All right, Fearless Nikki. Like, that's not on. You can't do that. And then the Riot Squad have come in and were like, we're going to have to do something about that.
Yeah.
Red
Graffiti the
bed.
graffiti, everyone knows that.
Yeah, you got graffiti. It's so stupid.
No, you've got to graffiti the graffiti, everyone knows that.
And it's all the same handwriting.
They were
as well.
correct. Was that
Same
was this
handwriting.
the same time they had the Jim Night on a table?
Jim the Table Nighthawk.
I mean, so it wasn't all bad.
More like Jim the Anvil Nighthawk, more like Jim the Table Nighthawk. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it was. They did it, not me.
And it was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable.
I will defend Jim the Table Nighthawk.
Indeed.
The tag match, I'm into it. Nikki Bella, if it's Nikki Bella and Rhea Ripley, in a sense it will be, based on the Raquel Rodriguez thing, that's a big tag title match for Evolution.
What?
I've found an article at brilliantwhatculture.com, the 10 most pathetic wrestling insults of all time, written by Michael Sidgwick back in November of 2022. You featured this at number 10.
Of course I did.
Do you want to know what the title was you gave for this entry?
No.
The Riot Squad spray not pain.
Yeah.
Where's the lie?
Yeah, where's a lie?
The potential of a tag title match, though, is great.
Yeah,
I love that.
like decent booking of the Nikki Bella character at this point. Fear More, really early days was reviewing Raw. That was
Yeah.
Fear More.
Fear more. Bloody hell. How time flies, eh?
Jim the Table was great.
Time's flying too fast. Too fast.
Sorry, I was like, I'm really intrigued to see
in a
what
podcast.
Michael Sidgwick picked as number one. It's that picture.
Of John Cena.
John
Kennedy.
It's the Kennedy.
He's the worst wrestler of all time. The worst.
man.
Maybe even worse than Triple H.
Wasn't he just doing beat for beat Jim Carrey stuff? So
Yeah.
everyone's like, that's good stuff.
I hate him so much, bro.
For the listeners, describe what you're looking at least.
Yeah, he's just pulling a Jim Carrey face, like you say. Like, yeah.
Kennedy.
It's a great picture, that.
What happened in the main? Is it the main event time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I was like, put him in films, this guy. Actually, yeah, take him back, Hollywood. Just leave.
Just
John.
leave.
Leave, John.
Kind of ruining everything.
Get out of wrestling.
I quite like it.
Not me. I like it.
Not me, I like it. I thought Liv Morgan, again, very few people can sell someone affronted like her. Just lives in a performance. I think she's excellent.
I was thinking this as she was doing this promo. I was thinking, Liv Morgan of a few years back, this just doesn't work, does
Exactly.
it? Yeah.
Now she's real good. Stop looking at John Cena's face, bro. I'm hungry.
Right, mate.
You're taking food off my table.
Yeah.
Speaking of John Cena, his title match with CM Punk was made official at this point. And Jey Uso makes his entrance for the main event of the evening, World Heavyweight title on the line. He's there with his son.
Good touch that. Break that kid's heart.
Yeah.
Get the heat.
Done this for Gunther before. Always works.
Yeah.
Remember the Gable kids?
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, here's a tip. Don't bring your children to watch you in a match because you're going to lose.
And they did the Sami Zayn family, don't they?
Do you reckon it's Gunther pays for the tickets? Bring your kids. Obviously ridiculous reaction for Jey Uso here. And he started fast, tried some early sleepers, if it's worked for him before, I suppose. But Gunther bails the floor to take us to an early break. I just loved the bit. After the break, we come back and Jey hits a flying crossbody. He hits it. And he takes his ages to get up, and he's nursing his midsection. Obviously, he's been injured through everything, but particularly that Asai moonsault from Logan Paul. And the camera just went from Jey to Gunther, who suddenly just looked like, oh, cool, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Like this, it's bastardized the phrase, but the sadistic smile of just like, oh, his ribs already hurt, and I haven't even done anything to him. Just comes over and kicks him in the midsection, rips off his shirt, and it reveals that, yes, he has the ribs taped up. That's like, you might as well paint a target on yourself if you have something like that. And Gunther rips off the tape, targets it, and Jake fights back, but Gunther suplexes him outside the ring, takes us to another break. When we come back, Jey like I say, continues to fight back. Hits a vertical suplex. Strikes with the yeets along with it. Jey goes for a running hip attack, but Gunther moves, puts him in a sleeper while in the ropes, but Jey slips out and hits a suicide dive. They fight on the outside. Gunther backdrops him onto the barricade, tries a splash, but Jey gets his knees up, hits a spear and an Uso splash for a 2 count. Goes for another spear, but Gunther just nails him with a clothesline. Goes to powerbomb him, but Jey reverses that into a Hurricane Rana for 2. Gunther hit a powerbomb, and then he hits a spear for 2 as well. Jey again tries for the sleeper. Gunther tries for 1. Jey counters it, hits a spear, but misses the Uso splash and sells his ribs. Gunther snatches him up into a sleeper at that point. Jey fights to get to the ropes, but Gunther repeatedly pulls him into the middle of the ring. It looks like he's about to go out, but Gunther lets go, hammers down with elbows, and that allows Jey actually to slip out and put a sleeper on Gunther, who panics, but this time he reverses into another sleeper right in the middle of the ring. And Jey, the final bit of fight goes out of him. He passes out. Gunther wins. Jey Uso's world title reign is over. Jey is slumped there at ringside as the show goes off the air with his son checking on him. And Gunther poses with the belt as the fireworks go off. He's regained his World Heavyweight Championship.
This was a match of excellent creative choices in place of skill. Like, I think they've acknowledged what didn't work about the WrestleMania match. I like the previous stuff over the IC title, but that was before Jey had a belt full stop and Gunther had that extra power as the Intercontinental Champion. With the one exception being that I thought it went too long. I thought there was minutes to be shaved, probably from the middle section.
There was a bit where he went for that second spear, and I'm like, we're looping here.
Yeah.
We're looping here.
There was definitely time that could have been saved. But they were in the midst of an epic, so I sort of get how it can happen, but I just would have thought, tighten that up a little bit. But otherwise, a series of like excellent creative choices from the build with Jey Uso selling so much because of all the good that he does. Because Gunther tells you that's not how to be a champion, but it is how to be a champion, is to be the top babyface. Like, Jey wanted to be Cody more than he wanted to be Gunther. And that's a good characteristic of a Jey Uso world title reign to have. And it's played through to its natural conclusion, which is it costs him in the end. Like, Cody was able to manage the weight of that crown for a year, Jey Uso for a couple of months. And that's about where those characters live in the WWE hierarchy. So I've enjoyed that creative from the beginning. I like getting it seen through to what I assume is its probable permanent end. Like, fine. Jey Uso's kicking out here was like lifeless in the most like elegant of ways. This wasn't like a powerful rolled shoulder or a 1 count or anything. It was pure experience and instincts rolling the shoulder. There was no energy. There was almost like he looked drained of his cardio. And this is the world champion, but that sells the story of the fact that he was beaten up coming in. Meanwhile, the genius of Gunther's character all along is in how it hides an amazing babyface turn. From day one to now, this character has hidden an incredible babyface turn. This is a man that, for the most part, with a bit of help every now and then from Imperium or whatever, or circumstances, says he's going to do something and does it, like an ultimate babyface trait. For the most part, does it through out-wrestling his opponent with moves, another babyface trait. Cleanly. And does it in a way where the crowd, begrudgingly, and like you only need to look back at like the McAfee match as an example, where there's like a begrudging respect all the way around, from him to his opponent, from the crowd to him, from his opponent to him. Again, another babyface trait, even if he can tweak that to be a dominant heel for now. And this was all of those things laid bare. A match of character traits well executed more than it was, say, like moves or drama well executed. And I really, really enjoyed it for that. I asked yesterday for this match to toast what I believe to have been quite a little successful booking period for Raw's main event. And I thought that was going to happen with a myriad of run-ins and drama. In fact, it toasted it because it reminded you that they've stayed fairly tried and true with these characters. And what you got was the match that these two wrestlers would have. The ultimate answer to my complaint of, can the wrestlers just wrestle as the wrestlers and not aim for something else? And that's what this did. And that's what I loved about it. If
Jey Uso had demonstrated to me the ability to do what he did in the space between moves here, I might not have had this problem all along. I had this weird relationship with this Jey Uso push where, one, quite liked that it makes next year's Rumble really interesting. Like, oh my God, they might actually go with the wild card and not the two wrestlers who are kind of orbiting the two titles, you know? Two, I thought in this really probably counterproductive and things could just be good instead of whatever, the fact that he's so useless means that they're not going to give him the belt long. I can buy every single defense. It was like sort of like a weird kind of effective. Bit bold, has, makes the Rumble interesting. I'm talking around, not actually good, never actually good. Maybe if I thought the last 5 minutes of this was spellbinding. And if he could do what he did with his body language and his facial expressions and his pacing, I wouldn't care less that his spear can sometimes look like, what did he do that time?
Oh, it was a crossbody.
A crossbody spear. Yeah. I wouldn't have cared that much about that.
He was so drained here, wasn't he?
I know.
He was so limp. And
I thought he was great. Genuinely, I think this is the most I've ever thought he was a good wrestler. Certainly in a singles capacity. Like, if he had that substance to his work, that emotional connection, I would have probably not been a bitch about it. Like, he looked drained, limp, the defiance, like, go on, chop me, or like that, just the specific way in which he writhed around and slipped out. Like, he looked like prey that just refused to die for the 5 minutes. Genuinely thought this was super, super dramatic. And as the seconds ticked by, and you think, oh, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view match has literally just happened. I think you do this on another Raw, on another night, on the back of another pay-per-view or another Raw, nowhere near as effective. That weird thing of people waiting for... I understand why people might have just not invested because they were waiting for Seth. It had almost the opposite effect on me, though, where I'm thinking that there's not enough time for the Gargano.
Yeah.
There is not enough time. The time is running out for the Gargano here. Oh, he's in trouble. Then no, he's not. He's going to get out. I thought it was really good stuff, this. I know it's not fashionable, but I don't give a That was real good stuff.
And as a podcast, we predicted the winner.
Yes.
Right as always.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I shocked myself that I wasn't there going, where's the cash in? Like, I really like the fact that they just didn't do it. A, because that means, great, we're not getting another cash in on another day. But also,
no more Seth on this show.
These two, I just thought, worked brilliantly together here. But let us know your thoughts on the match and the show in the comments section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all four of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
You can follow our producer Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from. For daily wrestling podcasts, we'll be back later on today to preview NXT. But for now, it's been the Raw review. My thanks to Hamflett Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.